Hey, welcome. Thanks for sitting down with us at the Developer and Testing Forum. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey, my name is Robert Varga. I work for Pantheon Tech as a Pantheon Fellow, which essentially means that I engage in various technical um, programs and really spearhead development of some of our technologies. And well, my area of expertise is essentially open daylight and related technologies, which I'm doing full time.
Nice. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where your open source journey began?
Oh yeah, so that was a long time ago. Essentially, when I came to university back in the 90s and discovered there's this thing called Unix and then Linux and Internet, and these things are free and you can hack them. So that's where it really started. And then over the past, I guess, 25 years, I dabbled into various open source projects here and there as I changed, well, moved away from uni and went to jobs various and all that.
So you've been part of open source and the open source community since long before you arrived at your current destination.
Oh yes, oh yeah. Back in my sysadmin days, we had to modify things like what was it, career remap and whatnot to our specific deployments. And then it was really projects that which leveraged Linux as their baseline and required expertise in how do we run this and what sort of APIs we can use to actually make things happen. So yeah, it was a progression.
So you're one of our largest contributors, right, in terms of code and whatnot to the projects. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and just give us a sense of what it is you're contributing to, what are the projects and the ones that you're looking at and that you're playing around with?
So my primary focus at this time is essentially open daylight and related technologies. So bits and pieces in OwnApp, bits and pieces in Fido a long time ago. But essentially I got lucky enough to be pulled into Open Daylight when it started. So I ended up architecting a lot of it and implement a lot of it. So I get to keep what I wrote and kind of maintain it going forward and make sure it's still relevant. So that's what is actually driving me. And the other problem is that if your job is your hobby, then it's kind of hard to separate the two, and a lot of patches come in at odd hours when they shouldn't really.
Well, when if your job is your hobby, that's great. That's a lot of passion right there. Well, thank you for that. The other question I have for you is, let's talk a little bit about the actual summit itself. So how did you find it?
Yeah, finally we're meeting face to face. I mean, last time in Porto it was a really small event. This is slightly larger. It's still not where we used to be 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but it's great to see familiar faces face to face, and have those long discussions that are so hard to do over teleconference without whiteboards and all that.
Right. And what would you say is your favorite part of the event?
Meeting everybody for yeah, meeting everybody, definitely.
And what do you look forward to contributing now, moving forward?
So we have a lot of work ahead of us in Open Daylight. Essentially, Open Daylight is coming up to be 10 years old, and it was architected and designed 10 years ago, and it shows. Luckily, there is low-hanging fruit we can take care of to make it easier to consume. Our use cases are very well defined, so that's going to be the focus of next 6 to 12 months to get those things more consumable and engage with our users.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, and thank you so much for your contributions. It's really amazing.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.